I am a woman, and I use the women's restroom. And I guarantee you, not one of you will stop me.
Guys, this is not a woman. This is just some ugly dude. Don't fall for this crap, okay?
By the situation in Congress.
Didn't you learn anything from the election?
Didn't you learn that the American people don't want this? That the majority of people don't want to be kowtowing to a 0.01% of people who want to enter into my bathroom? I don't want a guy who's dressed as a woman, who thinks he's a woman, whether he has his thing or not.
At yesterday's meeting, people accused their commissioners of cheating in the election and targeting conservatives. One man even referenced President Biden's comment calling Trump supporters garbage.
Do you need to resign today? You need to be fired. We are your boss. You are a bane, a stain on this country. The world is watching.
Just announced, the president-elect has selected Pam Bondi as the next Attorney General of the United States.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, MSNBC may be toast. Rest in peace. Goodbye. Sayonara. So Comcast is announcing a plan to spin off cable channels, including MSNBC, CNBC, and USA. Looks like the new company will also include Oxygen, ESYFY, or I think that's like Sci-Fi and the Golf Channel. But check this out. So Comcast announced a plan Wednesday, which is just like 2 days ago, to spin off most of its cable television networks into a completely separate publicly traded company on the stock market. Okay, the new company will include USA Network, CNBC, MSNBC, Oxygen, Sci-Fi, and the Golf Channel. Comcast will retain key NBC Universal assets, including the NBC Broadcast Network, NBC News, NBC Sports, the streaming service Peacock, and the cable channel Bravo. I don't know if you guys have seen Peacock, but their HD quality is like super high. Anyway, we've been talking about this guy, Joy Reid, looking to remove some of these key faces that have been super far left and just beyond crossing the line. Okay, so we could literally be saying goodbye to Joy Reid. Joy Reid could be getting laid off, fired, sayonara. Let's not forget about Joe Scarborough, and let's not forget about Brzezinski. We just talked about them having a little brunch with Donald Trump over at his Mar-a-Lago estate. It says here that the transaction will be structured as a tax-free spin to existing shareholders. Comcast owns NBC parent company, but the move comes as traditional cable networks bundles faces stiff economic headwinds, most notably the rise of cord cutting and the shift to streaming alternatives, aka people like us on YouTube. Comcast cable portfolio still contributes to its financial bottom line and helps expand its cultural footprint. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We got a ton more to talk about today.
We've been called election deniers, racists, conspiracy theorists, liars. Did I leave anything out? We, the people of Bucks County, are fed up. Yes, you're hearing us loud and clear.
These are elected officials who openly and blatantly admitted to disobeying the law. How could we ever have faith in their ability to uphold the law again? The answer is we cannot, and they must resign immediately.
I've got to tell you, standing here today, listening to all these patriots and looking at how many people came out, something's wrong with the way we're conducting the elections in this county.
Voters are pissed off. Enraged voters have packed the Pennsylvania office today as a result of the illegal vote count that took place in Pennsylvania during the Senate race, and they're demanding resignation. More heads are rolling, more people getting fired.
Calling an outrage in Pennsylvania, enraged voters there at a wild meeting in Bucks County voicing their anger, condemning Democrat election officials who voted to count illegal ballots in the state's hotly contested Senate race.
Wow.
Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Sandra Smith, and Bill and Dana have the day off. Jillian, great to be with you.
It's great to be with you, Sandra. We're very happy that you made it all in one piece.
Every morning's a battle, Jillian.
Your tail. I'm Jillian Turner. So the Pennsylvania recount is moving ahead, moving forward. Republican Dave McCormick is maintaining his lead. Incumbent Democrat Bob Casey not conceding just yet. And with that recount underway, Bucks County officials say they will now comply with a state Supreme Court order to throw out illegal ballots.
State Supreme Court order to throw out the ballots.
After a county commissioner said this a few days ago. Listen.
I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it. And there is nothing more important than counting votes.
Nate Foy has more out of our newsroom on that. Hi, Nate.
Wow.
Hey, Sandra. Bucks County Commissioner Diane Ellis Marseglia apologized yesterday. She claimed her comments that you just heard were taken out of context and that she meant to refer to provisional ballots rather than the mail-in ballots that the state...
Are you guys buying this? She's talking about provisional ballots, not the mail-in ballots. Yet another I'm sorry apology. I don't know. But I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
It was genuinely not the best words. I would do it all again. I feel terrible about it. I should have been more clear. I will be more clear in the future.
But Bucks County residents heard the commissioner say that she would break state law and count ineligible votes.
That would mean like votes of illegal aliens, votes of illegal immigrants, that we have been receiving multiple reports on illegal aliens flooding across the southern border, entering sanctuary cities and whatnot, and engaging in voting illegally in our local county votes.
Then when she tried connecting her comments to abortion rights, the crowd was not having it.
Oh boy.
When I inartfully spoke and used the word precedent when I was talking about provisional ballots, I was referring to the United States Supreme Court and the precedent that has been lost on many issues, including Roe versus Wade.
Those boos.
Whoa, the crowd erupts and loses control.
Were only the beginning. At yesterday's meeting, people accused their commissioners of cheating in the election and targeting conservatives. One man even referenced President Biden's comment calling Trump supporters garbage. Listen to this.
The crowd booed.
Do you need to resign today? You need to be fired. We are your boss. You are a bane, a stain on this country. The world is watching.
Like a doo-doo stain?
All of you, being called garbage doesn't seem to be so bad.
Wow.
Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, city commissioners said they would follow, but disagreed with the state Supreme Court ruling to only count mail-in ballots that are dated correctly.
We know mail ballots that we get in time, and we know the mail ballots that we don't get in time. And therefore, I believe, in my opinion, that ballot should count.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro reminded all election officials this week to follow state law. While 3 counties have already finished their recount, Senator-elect Dave McCormick and Senator Bob Casey each gained a single vote. Some counties are still completing their initial count because of legal challenges to provisional ballots. Senator Casey is asking for more than 1,200 ballots to count across 9 different lawsuits, while McCormick wants thousands of votes removed from the count, but that still hasn't been ruled on by Pennsylvania courts.
Wow, that is a lot. Nate Foy, thank you.
Jeez, guys, unbelievable. And Matt Gaetz, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump's attorney general pick. Apparently, Matt Gaetz is looking to decline on this offer. Unfortunately, I really wanted to see Matt Gaetz be the new attorney general since Trump did nominate him. But Matt Gaetz actually comes out and gives a huge round of applause and a pat on Donald Trump's back for reselecting Pam Bondi being, as he says, a stellar selection by President Joe Biden, or by President Donald Trump, for Attorney General. Pam and I worked closely together when she was Florida's Attorney General, and I chaired criminal justice in the state house. She's a proven litigator, inspiring leader, and a champion for all Americans. She will bring the needed reforms to the DOJ. So we're going to see how well Pam Bondi does. Take a listen.
Just announced, the president-elect has selected Pam Bondi as the next Attorney General of the United States. I'll read from this announcement from the president-elect. I'm proud to announce former Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Pam Bondi, as our next Attorney General of the United States. Pam was a prosecutor for nearly 20 years, where she was very tough on violent criminals and made the streets safe for Florida families. Then, as Florida's first female Attorney General, she worked to stop the trafficking of deadly drugs and reduce the tragedy of fentanyl overdoses deaths, which have destroyed many families in our country. She did such an incredible job that I asked her to serve as our Opioid and Drug Abuse Commission. During my first term, we saved many lives. Again, he goes on to say she's smart and tough and is America's first fighter who will do a terrific job as Attorney General. Again, Pam Bondi from Florida, the next nominee for President-elect Trump, who obviously saw today that Matt Gaetz pulled his name from nomination as the votes were not there on Capitol Hill in the Senate for Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Pam Bondi, now the name that the president-elect has put forward in that position.
Interesting. So we actually got word from Matt Gaetz just yesterday, basically saying that, he didn't want his situation to be a distraction for Donald Trump's momentum, and basically kind of took a personal hit on the chin in order to promote and position the greater good of the Trump-Vance movement. So shout out to Matt Gaetz on that one. That was a tough move, a tough decision that he ultimately made. I think he made that decision by himself without being coerced. But anyway, definitely sounds like a team player on that decision.
Administration, has the Biden administration been helpful for you? Have we seen numbers go up or down? And what about under Trump?
Well, it was interesting. Trump's first term, it was way down, veteran homelessness, because they were really heavily leaned into the veteran community. And then when we had this migrant crisis, a lot of the VA HUD-VASH funds that are supposed to house homeless veterans ended up getting reallocated to migrants. So it went up by 12%. And I think it will go back down under this new administration.
Wow. So that money that was supposed to go to veterans went to the migrants. Correct. And that's why some of these veterans are on the street. They didn't tell that first guy why he wasn't allowed to stay in the shelter.
Well, they're not allowed to stay in the shelter because there's not enough shelters is the problem. And if you went to prison, like most of these people have gone to prison for domestic violence and things, drugs, and then they can't get in the shelter. They won't put them in these military shelters, so they continue to not get rehabilitated. They just retain their trauma for their whole life.
Well, I know you're going to be working with Washington. You're a lobbyist as well. You'll be working with Doug Collins and whoever some of these appointments, if these appointments go through, Pete Hegseth possibly. So thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Wow.
All right.
So money that was allocated by the WTP to be spent on homeless veterans was instead spent on illegal aliens by the Biden regime. Anybody have any considerations, thoughts on that? Thoughts, comments, concerns? Now, regardless of what Mark Cuban is saying, I'm sorry. Trump's Attorney General is going to be a woman. We just talked about this. Pam Bondi. Trump's DHS Secretary, a woman. Trump's Director of National Intelligence, a woman. Tulsi Gabbard. Trump's UN ambassador is also a woman. So Mark Cuban's probably feeling a little stupid right now. You see, Mark Cuban tells The View you never see Trump around strong, intelligent women. Yeah. So I guess Tulsi Gabbard doesn't qualify as being a strong, intelligent woman, Mark Cuban. I guess Pam Bondi being the next, or at least Donald Trump's nominated Attorney General wouldn't be a strong, intelligent woman. I mean, look at the DHS Secretary. Look at Trump's UN ambassador. Come on, Mark Cuban, take a hike.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple. They're intimidating to him. He doesn't like to be challenged by them.
Can you believe this, guys? Mark Cuban, just open mouth, insert freaking foot. And I just want to prepare you guys. MSNBC guest literally just melts down over Donald Trump picking Pam Bondi as the next female attorney general, says that they should fear her because she is competent. Liberal political scientist Jason Johnson said Pam Bondi is an effective pick, who is worse, Pam Bondi could possibly be a worse, scarier pick by Donald Trump than Matt Gaetz. We should all fear her. Watch.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Yeah, and I want to discuss that with a little more depth with both of you, including her record on civil rights, LGBTQ rights, and other issues that are front and center at the DOJ, and which we know were also big campaign issues.
Guys, if this is a woman, then there's no such thing as a woman. You're desperate to be categorized as a female, but by entering the category, you destroy it. You know that which must suck for you, but not as much as it sucks for the women and girls fighting just to retain their rights and spaces.
Did she ever say anything before Sarah McBride existed? Why last year when there were no trans members?
Because she's confronted by the situation in Congress.
Didn't you learn anything from the election?
Didn't you learn that the American people don't want this? That the majority of people don't want to be kowtowing to a 0.01% of people who want to enter into my bathroom? I don't want a guy who's dressed as a woman, who thinks he's a woman, whether he has his thing or not. I don't want him in my bathroom. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to wash my hands near him. I don't want him in there. You know what? Get your own freaking bathroom. Go in your own unisex. Go in your own unisex bathroom.
She has her own bathroom.
Wait a minute.
Judge Judy just goes off. What do you guys think about that? Should dudes who want to use women's bathrooms be permitted? You don't have my vote on that one. Dudes, go use the men's bathroom, period. Done. There's only two genders. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for sharing these videos. You guys are freaking awesome.